And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel guys, I hope you're all well. Before we do get into today's video, as always, please do smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for daily Liverpool content. Okay, so the last time I spoke to you in yesterday's live stream, of course, was following Liverpool's defeat to Crystal Palace. Look, I am still reeling, I'm still absolutely livid with the result, which leads us now, of course, third in the Premier League. Following, of course, that defeat, Arsenal, surprisingly, actually dropped points in this title race as well, as they went on to lose at home to Aston Villa 2-0. Now that's kind of changed the view fortunes. It's changed the landscape of the sort of title race ever so slightly. It still puts us in a bad position in terms of that we need to rely on other teams in and around us to drop points before we can go on and win the title, but it's not as much as a fatal blow as it once was prior to the Arsenal game kicking off. Look, I did say after the game, straight after the game, that Liverpool were out of the title race. It was pure emotion, yes, and I still stand by that. I still stand by the fact that I do believe it's actually more of a chance of us winning the Europa League than it is the Premier League. Yes, us being 3-0 down against Atalanta, I do believe that it's more of a chance of us to actually go and overturn that result on Thursday than winning the Premier League. Because, well, Manchester City, they are machines. We've seen this machine work before. We've seen this machine do it twice before. Liverpool fans know all too well you cannot drop points against this Manchester City side. I said in the instant match reaction, to be fair, it probably wouldn't surprise me if Arsenal drop points. I'm expecting them to drop points in this title race, but with Manchester City, you just don't see it happening. However, look, if we are now perfect for the final few games of the Premier League season, which we can be, which again we're going to discuss a little bit later on, then maybe someone can do us a favour. Maybe that Manchester City going to Tottenham Hotspur away, where there's been a bogey ground for them, they can potentially drop points. Then we can find ourselves back to the top of the table. Maybe. Yes, I'm a hopeful fan. Of course I am. You always are after despair and defeat. You try and look on the positive sides. It was hard after yesterday's result, but Arsenal losing kind of put a little bit of hope in there, but it just makes it even worse at some points, because we should have beaten Crystal Palace at home. We should have beaten Crystal Palace at home convincingly. We should have responded after that game against Atalanta, and we would have been a bit of daylight between us and Arsenal. We would have been back to the top of the table once again with the title in our hands and not worrying about Arsenal and just pushing on for this title. That's why it's so infuriating. That's why it's so horrible for us as a fan base, because we should be out of sight. We should be out of sight, but we haven't learnt the lessons, that we keep on making those same freaking mistakes game in, game out, game in, game out, game in, game out. Same mistakes. Give the ball, give them the first chance of the game, big chance of the game. Let them score. Let them take a 1-0 lead, and then we have to fight to get back into the game with our toothless attack. Let's be honest. Our attacking players at this moment in time are going through horrendous form. They don't look like scoring in a barrel of fannies, I think is a saying there. Sorry for my derogative language there, but literally we don't look like we're going to be scoring at all. We don't. None of the players do. Too many sitters. Curtis Jones yesterday. Darwin Núñez, Mo Salah looks really, really poor. So something really needs to change. And maybe, look, on Thursday, as I said, I'm a hopeful Liverpool fan. Of course I am. Like many of you guys are. And when there is a chance, I don't give up. I've seen this football club overturn, big score lines before. I've went off to see winning games, winning trophies when the odds have been against us. But we're going to have to start this with a really good performance out in Italy next week. Atalanta. Look, if we can overturn that result, by the way, then yes, that might spur us on for the rest of the campaign. And that's the hopefulness inside of me. I don't think we will, unfortunately, but that's just the hopefulness inside of me. When that whistle goes on kickoff on Thursday, then of course I'm going to have that belief that I always do when Liverpool play football. But look, listen, we really need to try and find this form, and we've been let off the hook a little bit. We've been let off the hook a little bit in this Premier League title race. We have been let off the hook in this Premier League title race, but we really, really, really need to start scoring goals soon. We've lost 2 games on the bounce at Anfield. It's disgusting form. This is form we cannot have, and we need to really sort it out. Jurgen Klopp needs to take some responsibility as well. He needs to get into this. We have no excuse of there being injured players. If the senior players aren't up for it, play the youngsters, because I have hope, I have belief when they're playing, that they can get the job done. They've shown us when the players were out injured, when we were going through the injury crisis. They've shown it when we went on to win the Carabao Cup. So if you don't have the belief in those senior players and their as I keep on seeing on social media, mentally and physically fatigued, we'll give it to the youngsters. Let the youngsters go for it. Let them take it on, because I have a bit of hope. I have some faith in them. They got the job done. They haven't let us down this season. But we really need something to start going our way in this next match. We need to really start winning. And as stated, despite yesterday's horrible, poor result, we are actually still in this title race, but there is no margin for error. Andy Robertson came out and said that we have to be perfect. We've been perfect before. We can do it again, but it's by time now we start winning football games, and it starts in Italy on Thursday. So here's freaking hoping that Liverpool can turn this around and get the job done. I'm hopeful, but if you ask me right now, do I think we'll win the title this season? I do say no after yesterday's performance, unfortunately. I do say no, but listen, when there's a bit of hope, there's a little bit of hope, and Arsenal lost yesterday. We're only a point behind. I'm a bit more hopeful than I was at the end of kickoff against Crystal Palace. But at this moment in time, I don't think we'll win the title, unfortunately. Now, in other news, guys, Fabrizio Romano came out and spoke about, obviously, Fabio Carvajal, a situation with regards to him as well. He's had an interesting campaign. Obviously, went out to RB Leipzig at the start of the campaign. Kind of was surplus to requirements at Liverpool. Obviously, needed to go out and get the game time after he signed from Fulham the year previous or the summer previous. And basically, the story was that he didn't really get much opportunity at RB Leipzig, and it didn't really work out for the player. He didn't get the game time that he needed, played nothing, and when he came back in January, there was a lot of talk that, well, his Liverpool career was almost done, and he needed to go back out on loan to try and get that game time. And since he's moved to Hull, he's looked very, very good. He's looking like a fantastic player. He's scoring and making an impact with goals and assists. And following this, there is a lot of clubs now interested in making a permanent move for him in the summer. Now, Fabrizio Romano has provided a huge update with regards to him and said that Liverpool will not make a decision on his situation until the manager is in place, but also stated that if Ruben Amorim takes over the helm, there is a very, very big chance that Fabio Carvajal will play a pivotal role next season, potentially playing for Liverpool with that sort of Portuguese link. The manager is fond of the player and he could make an impact there. But it all depends on the managerial situation. But it does seem as though, according to Fabrizio Romano, that Fabio Carvajal can, of course, play and make an impact going into next season. So not for sale, despite reports stating that he could be going, despite reports stating that he could be leaving permanently in the summer. Nothing is done. Nothing is being said. He's certainly not staying at Hull, and everything will be assessed in the summer under a new manager. But if Ruben Amorim takes over, there's a very good chance that he will play within the first team and play a pivotal role going into next season. But Liverpool fans, that's all I've really got for you today. Do let me know your thoughts on yesterday's roller coaster of emotions, and do you have hope that we can go on and win this title? Yes or no? Let me know down in the comment section below. That brings us to the end of today's video. As always, please do smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for daily Liverpool content. Thank you, and I'll see you all next time. Take care. Peace.